It's been nearly 10 years since Michelle Obama walked out of the White House for the last time as First Lady of the United States. But today, at 61, she says she's more vibrant than ever. She's no longer confined by political expectations or public scrutiny. This is Michelle 2.0, confident, stylish, and finally living life by her own rules. In this exclusive story inspired by People magazine, we dive deep into Michelle Obama's new revelations, from her iconic White House fashion to the unseen struggles of being the first Black First Lady, her love story with Barack Obama, her daughter's independence, and her rediscovery of self after power. Welcome to Life of Celebrities. This is the story of Michelle Obama, the look, secrets, power, and freedom at 61. When Michelle Obama walks into a room, people see strength, style, and poise. But behind that poise is a woman who spent decades learning to stand tall, quite literally. "I'm 5 feet 11 inches, she told people. "My father used to tell me, 'You are tall, you are beautiful, don't you ever slouch.'" That advice shaped her early self-image, long before the cameras. As a young girl in Chicago, Michelle Robinson watched Soul Train every Saturday morning, mesmerized by the dancers, the colors, the energy, the boldness. That's what cool is, she thought. From those Saturday mornings grew a lifelong fascination, not with fashion itself, but with what fashion could say about power, identity, and freedom. Before she was the world's most famous First Lady, Michelle was a Harvard-educated attorney at a top Chicago law firm. "I'm sure it was some kind of 1980s power suit," she laughs. "Shoulder pads, pantyhose, which I hated. I don't even know what Barack saw in me back then." That self-deprecating humor hides a deeper truth. Michelle learned early that image mattered, that for a tall Black woman in corporate America, perception was survival. But what she didn't know was that she was being prepared for the world's toughest stage, the White House. When Michelle Obama entered the White House in 2009, she didn't just bring history, she brought color, confidence, and a new definition of style. Yet behind every bold gown or sleeveless dress was a calculated decision. "The role of First Lady is a job, but not a job," she explained. "You're supposed to be inspirational but accessible, authentic but representational. And as a Black woman, I had to make sure people saw my feminine side." She faced criticism, not for policy, but for her arms, for dancing, for being too confident. She saw through it. "It was pure hypocrisy," Michelle says now. "Jackie O wore sleeveless dresses all the time. But when I did, it was somehow a scandal." For 8 years, she balanced between grace and grit, using her wardrobe as quiet resistance, elegant, relatable, and powerfully hers. She worked closely with stylist Meredith Coupe to create looks that spoke to women everywhere, affordable pieces from Jade Crew one day, custom couture the next. Her goal? To show that elegance isn't about money, but meaning. "I loved that if I wore something and it sold out, it meant most women could afford it," she said. That meant connection. But connection came at a cost. Every outfit was dissected. Every color, neckline, and hairstyle became political. That's why she waited nearly a decade to write the look. "I didn't want fashion to overshadow everything else," she admits. But now it's time to tell that story. Even President Obama wasn't safe from style controversies. Who could forget the 2014 tan suit scandal? The simple beige suit that set off a political firestorm. Michelle laughs remembering it. "I loved that tan suit. I told him, 'You look so cute.' And then when people freaked out, I said, 'Welcome to my world.'" By then, they were veterans of scrutiny. Two people who had weathered storms together with humor, love, and unshakable partnership. For the Obamas, even the most glamorous state dinners had something deeply personal beneath the sparkle. "For those black tie events, it was like our wedding every time," Michelle says. "I get all dressed up for my man. He never knew what I was wearing until I walked out. And in that instant, before the flashbulbs and formalities, they'd share a quiet smile that said, 'It's just us.' That bond, forged in love and pressure, still defines them today, 33 years and counting. Now, their date nights are simpler. Home-cooked meals, candles, and music. No dinner and a movie, Michelle jokes. I'll fall asleep in the theater. Raising Malia and Sasha inside the White House was another balancing act between privacy and protocol. They had a rule. You work with Meredith when dressing for public events, Michelle said. When you're with us, you're on the job. But when you're on your own, be you. Barack, ever the protective dad, had his moments too. He'd say, "Those shorts seem short," and I'd tell him, "Don't say anything. Let them cook." Today, with both daughters grown, Malia 27, Sasha 24, Michelle beams with pride. They're healthy and happy, she says. That's all I ever wanted. After years of being a symbol, Michelle Obama is finally just Michelle. She loves her braids, not just as a hairstyle, but as liberation. Braids mean freedom, she says. I can swim, play tennis, and not worry. In the White House, I wasn't sure if the country was ready for it. At her official portrait unveiling, she wore them proudly. It was a message, she says, that this, too, is professional, powerful, and beautiful. So, what's her secret to staying vibrant? Michelle smiles. Black don't crack. But she credits her energy to something deeper: health, discipline, and peace. I'm not wincing at my gray hairs, but I color them, she says. I work out, eat right, go to the doctor, and most importantly, I choose peace. For the first time in her adult life, every decision is hers. No campaign trail. No press schedule. No expectations. I feel free, she says simply. Free to write, to speak, to just be me. From a young girl in Chicago to one of the most influential women on earth, Michelle Obama has lived many versions of herself. Now, as she redefines what it means to age, lead, and inspire, she stands as proof that growth never stops. Her message to women: we matter. We count. Every day, tell yourself you are smart, beautiful, kind, and worthy. That's Michelle Obama, not just the former First Lady, but a woman who continues to become. At 61, Michelle Obama's story isn't about power or politics, it's about presence. Her new book, The Look, isn't just a style memoir. It's a declaration of self-worth, resilience, and renewal. The woman who once dressed for the world now dresses for herself. The First Lady of the United States has become the First Lady of Freedom. And as she twirls to the beat of Beyoncé and Cardi B at her photo shoot, Michelle Obama reminds us of one timeless truth. Confidence isn't found in the spotlight. It's born when you no longer need one.